Hello there everyone and welcome to Fancy Golem Games. Today we're going to be making a sewer entrance tile for your Dungeons & Dragons or Pathfinder game. Let's get started. Alright, so your first step is to cut out some of these foam core squares. These are approximately 3 inches by 3.5 inches, give or take. And you're just going to want to trace some of these circles into them. I just use various size cups for tracing all my circles for this project. Alright, so your next step is to cut out only those outer lines, don't cut out that inner circle yet. And we're going to start peeling off this outer layer of paper. This is going to be stone, so we're just going to use our normal stone technique for this. So just go ahead and peel off that paper on both of those, like I'm doing here. And here we are. Next, we're going to take a rolled up ball of tin foil to texturize these. Make sure to roll it around. Don't get the same texture on several places if you can help it. And very nice. That'll give us that nice stone texture that we're looking for. Next up, go ahead and temporarily secure those together. I just use some masking tape and cut that inner circle out. You'll see why we're not permanently attaching those together in just a moment here. Alright, so now I've cut those circles out carefully, as you can see here. And just a tip, you can save those inner circles for large miniature bases or just circular stone tiles, whatever you like. Okay, for your next step you're going to want to get some of this. This is a plastic mesh that is used in, I believe it's cross-stitching. This material is great for grating, leaded windows, all sorts of stuff. And you're just going to want to go ahead and cut a little circle out of that, matching roughly the diameter of the outer circle that you cut earlier. And you're just going to want to glue that in place. Alright, great. Now that we have our grating in place, you're going to want to get some of this. This is just cardboard from a cereal box, and you're going to cut that to 1.5 inches by 3 inches. And likewise, you're also going to cut out these 1 inch by 1.5 inch blocks of foam, and those will be our little side panels for the base. Fantastic. Moving right along, I've hot glued those to either side of the base, as well as textured them and added a bit of sludge using hot glue, dragging the tip through it. Then we're just going to glue our now dried entrance down onto the base as well. And there you go, you can see that's all put together. Next we're going to add the waterfall just using more hot glue. And you'll see how I do that here. There you are. You can see I just dripped hot glue over it, as well as added some on the back to look like it's pouring through the grate. And that means we're ready for painting. Alright, so next we're going to base that in black. Don't use spray paint, it'll eat away at the foam. And in addition to that, you're also going to need 6 other colors, and those are as follows. You're going to need Gray Storm, Gray Sky, Festive Green, Burnt Umber, Silver Metallic, and Copper Metallic. Alright, first up is our base coats. You're going to start by basing all of the stone parts in the darker gray, as I'm doing here. And with that, you're going to want to hit all but the deepest cracks, so maybe 90% coverage or so. And my apologies that the lighting wasn't very good for these first couple clips, but next you're going to want to base the water or sludge in dark brown. Alright, moving along, we're going to do a light gray dry brush. You're going to want to unload almost all of the paint off of your brush before you start brushing, and especially nick at those edges, and just try and bring out the texture in it. Alright, then next you're going to want to do the metallics on the grate. I'm just using a metallic silver here, and you're going to want to not get complete coverage, which is why I'm wiping a lot of the paint off the brush first. And you can see metallics are really strong, so you're just going to want to give it enough so it shines like a sort of dark metal rather than a bright silver. Almost done. We're just going to do the metallic copper. Going to use this for rust, and so you're just going to want to stipple it onto the grate and maybe give some very slight streaks on the stone here and there for where the rusty water ran off. Moving on to the green, you'll want to get a pretty solid layer of coverage so that only the brown shows through the cracks and the lowest areas. And you can also stipple some green onto the grate as well to give it a sort of mossy or splashed look. And here I'm just applying a black wash, nothing too fancy. If you don't know how to make a wash or where to get it, check out Black Magic Craft's video. He has a great video on washes. And for the very last step, you can flock with your favorite flocking to give it a bit of a moss look deep in the cracks. And once that glue dries, you're going to want to dump off the excess and then apply some 50/50 watered down white glue to seal it in place. And after that, you'll be finished. There you go, all done. Here's what it could look like at the table. Just set this up with some skeletons and a lizard. It looks pretty nice. And if you like, you could actually use some nail polish or high gloss varnish, acrylic varnish, on the sludge to give it a more glossy look. I did that on the pool, but I haven't gotten around to do that on the grate yet. I'm not sure if I will, because do be aware that nail polish will eat away at the foam if it contacts raw foam. Thank you all very much for watching. I have been Fancy Golem Games, and I hope to see you next time.